All right, it's time for some more feedback on the latest project. This is the stationery project, and each of you submitted, or most of you submitted, a business card and a letterhead for stationery. Sharice, a couple of things that I would encourage you to do is to not crowd the edges. So everything feels a little bit crowded in here. So there's only a 1/16 of an inch or something, an eighth of an inch here on the edge of your business card. And there's only about that much on this side as well. This text is tied up against your logo. Everything feels like it's trapped in between this left and right side of your card. Same thing on the other side of the card. You've moved this text all onto the left side and this text all over here to the right side. And so your best white space is actually trapped in the middle of these two elements. Your logo here is repeated, which is a nice repetition, but at the same time, because you've made it transparent, you've said it's just a decoration and it doesn't mean anything, it doesn't communicate anything except please don't look at me, I'm not important, or I'm trying to hide from you. So I'd encourage you to not do the transparent logo here on the front. In fact, one thing that you might try to get that repetition that you're looking for is to take an element of your logo, for example, the corner of the blue square, and let the corner come in. So all we see is one corner of a square. And then you'll get repetition of the element without the, the crowding that's caused by these two logos. And I wouldn't make them transparent at all. Here's your stationery, and again, you've moved your elements right up here into the corner. They definitely need more space. Think of the white as a frame, and right now there's no frame. When you print this, some of this information might even be cut off because it's so close to that corner. So again, I'd encourage you to not put stuff so close to the corner. Now find a place for strong alignment. Your contact information has, I love how you have made your name bigger so that there's some contrast and I can find what's important first. Now find a way to unify it with your logo. For example, you have aligned it here to the left, and maybe if you just move everything over, then that would help. But I wonder, is this left the strongest place in your logo? I have doubts of that because yellow isn't the strongest color here. And it is hard to find a strong place in your logo because it all has kind of the same weight. Each of these vertical lines has a similar weight. But I wonder what would happen if you used this blue as the strong place, because this is where your text comes and meets the squares, and this blue is a little bit heavier visually than the yellow. So what if you right aligned this contact information here to the blue? You might consider changing some spacing here in the contact information so that the things that go together are grouped together. For example, 555 West, 442 South, Rexburg, Idaho, that's all one thing. But visually, it has the same relationship. These two lines have the same relationship to the email address or the website as they have to each other. So give them some more space. In other words, put a space between the website and the physical address to visually indicate the grouping of things that have a relationship with each other. All right, let me do the next one. All right, this one is Mark Baclawski's. Mark, you've done a nice job stepping your logo up to a higher level. And I don't mind that you totally changed what the organization was. That's just fine. Mount Media, there's some nice things going on with your logo, some things I might tweak a little bit, where there are little shapes and tangents kind of going on that call undue attention to themselves. But still, you've done a nice job bumping it up. It's definitely an improvement. And I like the strong alignment here where you've right aligned this contact information and left aligned this contact information, so everything has this strong kind of unity here at this middle place. I sure wonder about making your icons white so that they show up better. I also wonder about giving me some contrast here so that something has more dominance. And then grouping, kind of like I told Sharisa on hers. Here is your letterhead. Think about the alignment, the top line of the top of this line. It looks like right now it kind of aligns with the base. That might not be the strongest place in your logo. It might be the top up here or the bottom. So, every little detail, like where you place things, all of that has an impact on your logo. This thin black stroke, I would consider taking it off. I understand that you need it here, and I'm not sure what the solution is. But here's an idea. What if your letterhead, instead of being white here, what if you showed these mountains by showing their negative? In other words, what if you used, for example, this really light gray color out here, and that these became kind of a silhouette, so that you didn't have to use that thin black or that thin stroke to define the shapes. You might consider on your logo letting the bottom of these mountains bleed off the edge of your card, just like you've bled them off the edge of your letterhead. You might consider also giving this a little bit more space. I guess you don't have to trim these edges, so maybe this is sufficient space, but because you could just trim this right and bottom edge. And maybe instead of using gray out here, maybe you could use one of your colors. It would have to be a light version of the color because it would be really hard to print on that, but maybe consider that, maybe that orange. And that might not work too. Give it a try and see what you think, Mark. So there we go. Nice strong alignment here. Although there's that kind of jogs in. That might be something you consider as strengthening the alignment in your logo, so that would help strengthen the alignment with this body copy. Okay. All right, this one is Tori's, and Tori, we spent quite a bit of time talking about your logo, so I'm not going to give you feedback about your logo, but I would like to give you feedback about your stationery. So a couple of things that are going really well for you here is you've got a nice repetition of these two cards. The solid black is really very strong. I wonder about doing something to contrast. So instead of having these both be solid black with the white line, what if one was the opposite? Or what if one of them had this white line coming all the way up, and maybe the right side was white, or maybe the color of your logo. Also, the font that you chose for your body copy here, I think that it's in conflict with the font that you've chosen for the logo. They don't really go together. This font doesn't say chandeliers. It says something different. I'm not sure what, but it's more casual, less elegant. So think about that and consider using something that wouldn't conflict. If you use, for example, I know we talked about using some kind of a script here on your logo, then you might want to use a sans serif font for your business card. I like that you have a strong alignment here. Give me some contrast. This is your letterhead, and right now it doesn't feel like letterhead. It doesn't feel professional. It feels like you've put a business card up here in the corner. And it's always hard to type a letter on top of other text, so that as somebody's reading, you have your letter dear so and so, and you have the body of your letter here. There's going to be a point where the words overlap these words, and it'll make it hard visually to read. So think about that. I do like that there's some repetition between your designs here. Although they don't feel, somehow they don't feel unified. You know, they don't feel like a complete professional package. So think about that, and based on the new logo too, you might totally change your stationery up and find a new way to make it work. Your logo, for example, you might make it large and let it come in from the side, so we don't see the whole thing, but we see part of it. That way it won't be constrained by the edges of the paper. Okay, this next one is Shara's. Just a couple of things, Shara, that I noticed. One, this looks really good. When I look at this in your business card, it definitely feels like a complete package. I love that you've left white space here on your card to frame things. I wonder what it would look like if this thread went all the way to the edge of the card. Also, your text here definitely needs some space. So let this negative, this solid color frame all the way around. Instead of pushing the text right up to the edge, move it in. And then that strong alignment is great. This is also crowding the corner. Move it up away from the corner, give it some space. I wonder if on this side there's a way you could use this other color. You've got two colors, and I don't know which color is used here, but I wonder if there's a way to use both colors. For example, what if you took the curve of this thread, the shape of this thread, and what if that shape was, what if that repeated all the way through your card? That's just an example, just a thought. Try that, see what you think. On your letterhead, I don't know that you need this extra line. It's starting to feel redundant, that it's over and over and over and over. And this shape isn't a repeat of this shape. And so you're not getting the continuity, the theme, I guess the feel, all the way through, because these shapes are different. As you've stretched this thread out, you've lost some of that. Well, you've lost that shape. So you might just take these threads off. I like how you've done the needle here, and that the thread, does bleed off to the edge. I wonder about aligning your body copy here with the strong place in your logo, which is, right here where the needle is. Why not bring this over and unify it with the logo, and then give me some contrast and maybe some grouping of elements of information that goes together. For example, these two lines of address have a closer relationship to one another, but visually you haven't shown that closeness in the relationship. Okay, I think I'm going to stop this first video now. So this is Allred through Brady, and I'll make another one here for the other people in the class. Thanks for watching.